we may have a couple of people still join us, and if we do, be more than happy to stop and introduce them as they come in. First of all, let me say good afternoon and welcome. My name is Scott Tesh. I'm the City of Winston-Salem's Budget and Performance Management Director. I am a new face to this group, having just taken the job a few months ago, but I'm very excited to work with you and alongside some faces you may already know. Have some folks in the budget office that have done this before, and also many other staff members in community development and elsewhere who are both a part of the process and provide support not only to this group, but more generally to community agency processes throughout the city. So I did want to say thank you to Councilmember Larson for joining us today, so that he may just hang out in the background and watch. So thank you, sir. Have a pretty light agenda, being the first meeting of this group for the year. So the first thing on the list there is welcome and introductions. So I'm going to ask Renee if you actually have the list and could go down the list, and we'll check off who is present as we do introductions of the CAC members themselves.
Ms. Jacqueline Burns.
Present.
Dr. Barbara O'Neill.
Hi, everyone. I'm multitasking today, but I'm here. I see you, Miss Jackie.
Hey, Bob.
And welcome to the new faces. But
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Shonda Holmes.
Hi, I too am multitasking. It's a blessing to be able to connect with you all. So thank you for inviting me, and looking forward to learning and new things and meeting new people.
Patricia Burton.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
I'm retired, so I'm not multitasking. After 35 and a half years, I'm not multitasking today, okay? But I retired from Reynolds American after 35 and a half years. And I am, looking forward to this opportunity to learn more about how our city works and how I may play a part in making it even better. So thanks for the invite and the offer, and I look forward to working with all of you.
Okay. And then we have Shannon Little. I believe she's not here. And that's the end of the members of the committee, Scott.
All right, thank you, Renee, and thank you to everyone for introducing yourselves. I want to go quickly around, and I will call out staff here. If you could just say your name, your role, and what department you're with. We'll want to do that very quickly. So we'll start with Renee.
Hi, I'm Renee Williams. I work in budget and performance management, and I manage the community agency process for budget.
All right, I'm just going to go around the circle here. David.
Good afternoon. I'm David Payne. I'm a grants and program outcomes analyst for the community development department.
Sharika.
Sharika Floyd, CLC program manager for the community development department.
Tanya.
Sorry. Hi, I'm Tanya Banner, and I work for the budget and performance management department.
Wanda.
Good afternoon. Wanda Russell, Program Coordinator, Community Development.
Diane.
I am Diane Greer. I'm Program Coordinator with the Community Development Department.
Alrighty. I know Meredith and Sarah are both out there. I know Meredith is actually running the Zoom meeting for us behind the scenes. And Sarah Coffey, who many of you may know, also works in the budget department. There's Sarah.
I'm here. Sarah Coffey. I'm the budget manager, also in the budget and performance management department. It's great to see you all. It's been a little while for some of you.
Yes.
Great. Well, I think that is everyone's staff wise. The squares seem to change every once in a while as people start talking. So if I've missed anyone, please feel free to unmute. Otherwise, I think we've hit everybody. So once again, welcome. Thank you for taking time to be a part of the city's community agency allocation committee, taking your time and donating it in such a way as to help the city and ultimately the city management team and city council make recommendations and appropriate funds to be used throughout the community for a multitude of programs across many different funding types. And so Councilmember Larson is here, and he will eventually get the product of your work and use it in some form or fashion to help allocate the resources that we have set aside every year for programs that range from housing through the arts and innovation. And so, again, it's my first year here, and I'm happy to be a part of this, happy to support this group. The agenda today consists of discussing the application process that has taken place thus far, talking about the responsibilities, reviewing process and calendar for the CAC for this year in terms of your meetings every couple of weeks and how they're designed. We'll elect a chair and vice chair from amongst the group today. And then if there's any other business we need to discuss, we will. And otherwise, we will adjourn here on a Friday afternoon and continue to move on. So I will step out of the way and I will allow Renee to discuss the application process. I would say if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, don't hesitate to interrupt us. More than happy to provide any insight that we can, but we will get moving. Renee?
Okay. For fiscal year 23, the review and award process is expected to progress according to the following schedule. On October 18th of 2021, the request for proposals was distributed and the application was made available in Neighborly, which is the software that we use to track the application and funding for a community agency. And then on October the 19th of 2021, we held an orientation workshop, and that was held to discuss and explain the application and any new changes for the fiscal year. Then November the 4th, we also held a technical workshop for applicants to assist them on how to use the Neighborly software. November 19th was when the application submission was due at 5:00 p.m. And then in December of 2021, the completed applications were distributed among a staff review panel who read through and reviewed the applications and gave their scores to us to how they thought, how good the applications were. And so now we're at January 2022. And so we begin our new community agency allocations committee. And so what you'll be doing is to review and score the applications that will, and give your recommendation to the city manager, who then makes his recommendation to the city council and the mayor. And so in April, we should be finished with a review by April. Recommendations for award of the federal housing funds will be forwarded to the mayor and city council for review and approval. And then in May of 2022, recommendations for awards of other funding sources such as the general fund and occupancy tax and housing finance assistance fund will also be forwarded to the city manager to be included in the fiscal year 23 budget, for the proposed fiscal year 23 budget. And then in June of this year, the mayor and city council will approve the fiscal year 22-23 budget, which would include those recommendations that the community agency allocations committee gave. So the responsibilities for CAC, what you would do. Again, the purpose of the Community Agency Allocations Committee is to review, score, and then prioritize all of the submitted applications as a recommendation for grant funding. The committee then provides your recommendations to the city manager, and he then sends his recommendations to the city council. Just want you to know that the allocations committee serves strictly as an advisory role. It's up to the mayor and the city council to have final say on funding allocations. Let's see.
I have a question, Renee.
Yes, Ms. Burns.
Based on your meetings in October when the process began, and you had your orientations, of individuals or entities that was looking for funding. How do you feel about, were they well attended? How do you feel about what happened?
Yes, I think they were well attended. It was well attended, especially the first one in October.
Okay. And I was just wondering, because I hope to see that reflected in, in the proposals. I was just wondering, just curious, because you offer such a great service, to the citizens. And I'm just hoping that they have been availing themselves to put forth the best, proposals that they possibly can, because you guys have given them guidance as to how to do that. That was my reasoning for asking. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I would add to Renee that Renee's comments that that's our hope, is to get not only the best proposals that we can get back, but to ensure that everyone throughout the community knows about the process. And so we're very intentional with the marketing and outreach that takes place with this process. I will note this is the city's annual community agency process. There are other things that are happening kind of in parallel to this. So the city, through its ARPA funding, actually has a recovery grants program that's made available to nonprofits. And if you have been watching City Council Finance Committee meetings, you know that there's potentially another process that will open up in the coming months from that ARPA funding as well, which is the American Rescue Plan Act that was passed last year by Congress. So this is our normal community agencies process, but I think that there will be other opportunities as well, and we will, as much as we can be getting the word out and trying to seek the greatest proposals that do the most good throughout the community in those processes as well. So. Any other general comments, questions, concerns about responsibility or review process, or how the applications process works? Otherwise, Renee, I think we can screen share the calendar and kind of go through it. Do you want me to share it, or do you have access to it? All right.
All right. The CAT committee will meet every other Friday, beginning at 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. And what we have set forth is, as today, we're doing the overview of your charge and your overall review process. We will vote on the chair and vice chair, and we will also put forth for you the meeting calendar to approve. And then Friday, February the 4th, we will discuss new applications for the community development, CDBG, home, and HOPWA applicants. We only have 4 total of new applications. And so we can also review the previously funded CDBG and home applicants that we have. And then we look to finalize those recommendations for those funding streams. Then on Friday, February the 18th, we'll discuss new applications for SOAR. We do not have any new applications for SOAR for this fiscal year, coming fiscal year. And so we can also review the previously funded SOAR applicants and make recommendations. Then on March the 4th, we will hear from the Continuum of Care panel, the chair, and Sharika Floyd, to discuss the ESG funding and make a vote on those recommendations sent from them. And then we'd also discuss new applications for the Housing Finance Fund. And then on March the 18th, we'll make recommendations for the Housing Finance Fund and to start to discuss the new applications for the general fund. And then on April the 1st, we will discuss new applications again for the general fund. And I do believe that we will probably be able to make the final recommendations for that. We only have 10 new general fund applicants. So unless you decide that you want to review some of the previously funded applications so that, the new members can get an idea of the agencies that we fund currently. I believe that it's possible that April the 1st would be our last meeting, but I do have April 8th on here just in case we have to move one. So that would be the calendar for the CAC. Are there any questions or concerns?
To add, for the faces who are familiar and have been here before, many of these acronyms or funding types are things that you've dealt with in the past. And for any new faces, things like CDBG, the Community Development Block Grants, home funding, HOPWA, which is housing opportunities for persons with AIDS, ESG, Emergency Solutions Grants. So kind of our housing type funding is taken first. SOAR, as Renee mentioned, the Successful Outcomes After Release program is something that the city has been doing for many years now and is kind of taken separately. And then we have some more of our local funds in terms of the Housing Finance Assistance Fund and General Fund opportunities. As we go through the process, I think it will be relatively easy to kind of figure out the pots and how they work together, but do not hesitate at any point to ask staff any questions you have about where those sources come from, whether they be federal pass-through monies or whether they're funded locally here. And if you have any questions about how they've been used in the past, absolutely don't hesitate to ask budget staff or community development staff as it relates to those housing funds. They are the professionals in that area. But again, glad that we have a good, tight schedule here. I think meeting every other Friday is going to work out very well for this commission. I hope that everybody is able to make those meetings and going forward in the future, able to, excuse me, sorry. Ooh, sorry about that. I got something caught in my throat. Is able to have their full attention in those meetings. I think there'll be some lively discussions about the applications themselves and making recommendations to ultimately to the city manager and to the mayor and council. So does anyone have any questions about anything they've heard thus far? Otherwise, I think we'll move on to taking nominations for a chair and vice chair. Renee, if you want to end that screen share, I think what we can do is take nominations from the floor for that. I believe we have the former chair on the committee again this year. Not that you have to, but I do know in other commissions, prior practice had been to allow that person to make a pitch to serve again, but would take nominations from anyone on the floor for a chair for the group this year.
I would like to nominate Barbara O'Neill, very capable chairperson. I would have taken it from her this year, but I have a emergency really situation. Just put my mom in the hospital, 96, with pneumonia and COVID on top of that. So that's a tenuous situation at best, you know. So we're having to deal with that. And so if Barbara would be so kind, she's very capable, and I will assist her in the second role unless some of the new people want to take, you know, grab hold. But that to me would be as good as any chair that we could have is O'Neill, Dr. O'Neill, if she would agree to do it again, and I'll work with her.
Dr. O'Neill, I know you are multitasking, but are you okay with accepting that role again? We'll even take a hand raise via the emojis, if that's okay. She may be otherwise engaged in the other Zoom or Teams meeting.
Now there was two questions.
All right, what did I hear you? What did you say?
I said,
Dr. O'Neill, you have Ms. Burns has nominated you to be chair of CAC again, if you are accepting of that role.
Jackie?
Yes.
I thought it was like I did it last year, you did this year.
Barbara, you didn't hear me. This is the deal, because I said I would have taken it away from you this year, but we just put mom in the hospital, Barbara, at 96 with pneumonia and COVID, and that situation is tenuous at best.
Say no more. I got you back.
Okay.
Yes, we'll take it on again.
We will.
All right.
We will accept that as a motion from the floor. If there is a second to that, would be more than happy to record anyone on the committee who seconds that motion.
If you don't second it, it's going to fail.
I second the motion.
All right. Assuming there is no one else appropriate, and it's not an official action of the city council, so we can just go through and say aye and raise your hand. I don't think that we have to do the whole roll call, particularly for this one. So all of those in favor of having Dr. O'Neill as the chair, if you would unmute and say aye.
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 Specific questions?
I guess I myself, huh?
My comments on 6.
Any those who are opposed? Hearing none, we will record that as Dr. O'Neill as the chair of the committee. In terms of naming a vice chair, would take a motion. Sounded like perhaps Ms. Burns, are you interested in being the vice chair?
Yes, I'll do it. I'll back her up.
Okay. So would take a motion from the floor from someone nominating Ms. Burns as the vice chair, and then we'll go through that little rigmarole of voting again. And I guess we'll allow Ms. Burns to nominate herself, and then would need a second.
I nominate Ms. Burns for vice chair.
There we go.
I second the nomination.
All right. All of those in favor, unmute and say aye.
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 So I don't know if
Any opposed? Hearing none, we now have a chair and a vice chair of the Community Agency Allocation Committee. So thank you very much. That was the last, I believe, official thing on the agenda. Again, a very short meeting, kind of introductions to the process. getting these formalities out of the way, and then the information will be forthcoming for ranking and scoring. And again, I really appreciate everyone's time in light of everything that's going on, both in our community and nationally, everyone who's being affected by COVID, obviously, even here in this committee. Thank you for your time. The city really appreciates all of its volunteers appointed to commissions, boards, and committees to help make these recommendations and to be part of the local government process. So thank you for this level of engagement. If there's anything else for the good of the committee, more than happy to take any comments or questions.
Just a quick one. This is Barbara. When will Neighborly be open for us, the portal?
When they enter into the program.
That will be today.
Okay.
Careful what you ask for, Barbara.
Develop the plan.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, ma'am. So substantive work of the committee comes forward after this meeting. We look forward to working with you on that. And without any other comments or issues, we will say good afternoon, adjourn a little early, and have a wonderful weekend, hopefully without too much snow on city streets in the future. So,
Amen. Thank you.
thank you and have a great afternoon.
All right. You too.